Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Get ready to snuggle in, because today we are rediving into a heartwarming tale that reminds us how a little kindness can lead to extraordinary magic. This isn't just any story. It's a timeless fairy tale, perfect for anyone who believes in the power of good deeds. So, without further ado, let's journey to a small, quiet village and meet our hero. Once upon a time, nestled deep within a peaceful valley, lived a shoemaker. He was a good man, known for his gentle spirit and honest work. But alas, fortune hadn't been his friend. Times were tough, and poverty had settled in like a persistent winter chill. One bleak evening, as the last rays of sunlight faded, he looked at his workbench with a heavy sigh. All he had left was a single, small piece of leather, just enough for one final pair of shoes. His hands ached from years of tireless work, and his heart was heavy with worry about how he and his wife would make it through. Still, with meticulous care, he cut the leather, laid the pieces out, and left them on his workbench, hoping against hope that tomorrow would bring some relief. He drifted off to sleep, his mind filled with a quiet prayer for better days. The next morning, the shoemaker woke with a yawn, still feeling the weight of his worries. But as he shuffled towards his workshop, a sight so incredible greeted him that he rubbed his eyes, thinking he must still be dreaming. There, on his workbench, stood a magnificent pair of shoes. They were perfectly crafted, each stitch flawless. The leather gleaming, a masterpiece far beyond anything he could have created himself. Who could have done this? He was utterly bewildered, but also filled with a surge of hope. Before he could ponder the mystery much longer, the shop door creaked open, and in walked a wealthy customer. The customer immediately spotted the beautiful shoes, tried Timon, and declared them the most comfortable and stylish pair he had ever worn. He paid the shoemaker generously, far more than he usually received. With newfound cheer, the shoemaker rushed out to buy more leather, his worries replaced by a cautious optimism. That evening, the shoemaker carefully cut the new leather, laying it out just as before. He wondered if last night's magic was a fluke, or if something truly extraordinary was happening. He and his wife whispered about it over their simple supper, their hearts fluttering with a mix of excitement and disbelief. Sure enough, when they returned to the workshop the following morning, another exquisite pair of shoes awaited them. And just like before, a customer soon arrived, eager to purchase them, paying handsomely. This pattern continued night after night. Elegant shoes, each one more beautiful than the last, appeared as if by magic. The shoemaker's fortunes began to turn around, his worries fading with each new day. He and his wife were no longer poor. They had enough to eat, warm clothes, and a comfortable home. But the mystery gnawed at them. Who was their secret helper? One chilly evening, after carefully cutting the leather, the shoemaker turned to his wife, a twinkle in his eye. "My dear," he said, "we must discover our benefactor. Tonight, we shall stay awake." His wife, equally curious, readily agreed. So, they hid themselves behind a curtain, barely daring to breathe, waiting patiently as the clock slowly ticked towards midnight. The village was silent, save for the gentle rustle of leaves outside. Then, as the moon climbed high and the clock struck 12, a truly wondrous sight unfolded before their very eyes. From beneath the workbench, out scampered tiny, cheerful figures. Little elves. They were dressed in tattered, threadbare clothing, but their faces were bright with joy and enthusiasm. With astonishing speed and incredible skill, they gathered the cut leather. Their tiny fingers worked with such precision, stitching and polishing, hammering and shaping, dancing and singing as they went. The shoemaker and his wife watched in silent amazement, tears welling in their eyes. The elves worked tirelessly, and in what seemed like mere moments, a brand new, flawless pair of shoes was completed. Just as quickly as they appeared, they vanished again, leaving behind only the perfect shoes and a feeling of profound gratitude in the shoemaker's heart. The next morning, the shoemaker and his wife, still buzzing from their midnight discovery, knew exactly what they had to do. "They've brought us such good fortune," the shoemaker said, his voice thick with emotion. "We must repay their kindness." His wife nodded enthusiastically. Indeed, those poor little elves were so thinly dressed. And so, with renewed energy and purpose, they set to work. The shoemaker, despite his exhaustion, carefully cut tiny patterns, not for shoes, but for tiny shirts, trousers, and coats. His wife, with nimble fingers, stitched and sewed through the day, crafting the most adorable little outfits, complete with tiny, warm boots. They worked with love and care, imagining the joy on the elves' faces. That evening, instead of leather, they laid out their precious handmade gifts on the workbench. Then, just as before, they hid and waited. As midnight approached, the familiar rustling began. The elves appeared, ready for their nightly task. But when they saw the beautiful, warm clothes and tiny boots waiting for them, they gasped with delight. Their eyes sparkled, and joyous squeals filled the workshop. They didn't make any shoes that night. Instead, they quickly tried on their new outfits, twirling and dancing with boundless joy, their little faces beaming with happiness. They sang songs of gratitude, their voices like tiny bells, celebrating the shoemaker's kindness. After a joyful dance, filled with laughter and warmth, they waved goodbye and disappeared, never to return. The shoemaker and his wife never saw them again, but they felt a deep sense of peace and satisfaction. From that day forward, the shoemaker's life remained full of good fortune and prosperity. He continued to make beautiful shoes, now with renewed spirit and a grateful heart. He understood that true wealth wasn't just about money, but about the kindness shared and the joy it brought. The magic of the elves may have gone, but the magic of giving and receiving kindness remained, forever woven into the fabric of his life. And so, this beautiful tale reminds us that even in the darkest of times, a little bit of kindness, whether given or received, can spark the most incredible magic and bring unexpected blessings into our lives. Thank you so much for joining me today for this heartwarming story. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of fairy tales, please give this video a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and do you and forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next adventure. We'll see you in the next one.